Claimed by the Immortal Lycan King. Prologue. The Last Prophecy. There are stories that survive because people remember them. And there are stories that survive because no one dares to forget. This is one of them. 300 years ago, before wolves divided themselves into packs, before alphas ruled from marble halls, before the moon goddess became a name spoken only in prayer, the world came to an end, or at least everyone believed it had. The war had lasted so long that the children had forgotten what silence sounded like. Kingdoms had burned, forests had turned to ash, rivers, once clear enough to mirror the stars, ran dark with the memory of blood. Even the mountains carried scars, where dragons had fallen from the sky. Those who survived no longer prayed for victory, only for mourning. Morning came, but peace did not. High above the shattered world stood the temple of the first moon. Time had tried to erase it. Snow had buried its broken steps. Vines had claimed its ancient walls. Yet every winter the moon still found it, as if even the heavens remembered what the world had forgotten. Kings gathered beneath its crumbling arches, queens, generals, priests, the last immortal rulers of the old kingdoms. None of them spoke because in the center of the temple, an old woman was climbing the stone steps. Barefoot, alone, every step left a crimson footprint upon the snow. She was known by many names: the last oracle, the moon's voice, the woman who never lied. No one knew how old she truly was, only that whenever she spoke, history listened. She reached the altar, then she stopped. The wind vanished, the snow no longer fell. Even the flames of the 100 blue candles surrounding the altar became perfectly still. The silence that followed felt alive. The oracle opened her eyes. They were no longer human. Silver light shimmered within them, like moonlight reflected on still water. When she spoke, the voice that answered did not belong to an old woman. It belonged to something far older. When winter remembers, the flower that cannot die. When the forgotten daughter weeps beneath an unwilling moon. When the king who buried his heart beneath snow hears the cry of the broken. No one moved, no one breathed. The prophecy continued. The Crimson Queen shall awaken. Ancient kingdoms shall remember their names, and the child the heavens once mourned shall walk among wolves. A nervous laugh escaped one of the southern kings. It died almost immediately. No one else found the prophecy amusing because the oracle was looking at only one man. He stood apart from the others, not because anyone had ordered it, because no one stood beside him willingly. Snow rested upon the shoulders of his black cloak. Not a single crystal melted. At his hip hung a sword older than most kingdoms. Its blade had never known defeat, neither had its master. No crown rested upon his head, he had no need of one. Every king present had crossed half the world to stand in his shadow, not because they served him, because even victory looked different when he was near. They called him many things: the king of winter, the wolf of north, death's last general. But history would remember him by only one name: the immortal Lycan King, Kael. For a long moment he said nothing. His golden eyes remained fixed upon the oracle, unreadable, ancient, lonelier than the endless snow beyond the temple walls. Then the oracle descended from the altar. One slow step, then another, until she stood before him. The entire temple watched. Kings who had never bowed lowered their heads. Even the wind seemed unwilling to disturb the silence between them. The oracle raised a trembling hand. She did not touch him. She simply smiled, a sad, gentle, knowing smile. "You," she whispered, "will kneel." The words echoed through the temple, not loudly, quietly, like a stone disappearing beneath still water. Yet they reached every soul standing there. The impossible had been spoken. The man who had never bowed, the king who had buried empires beneath snow, the immortal, feared by gods and monsters alike, would one day kneel. Kael did not laugh. He did not argue. He did not deny the prophecy. Instead, he asked a single question: when? The oracle closed her eyes. A single tear slipped down her weathered cheek. When the world rejects her. Silence. No one understood. Not the kings, not the priests, not even Kael. But somewhere, deep within the ancient chambers of his heart, a door, long frozen shut, shifted, ever so slightly. The oracle reached into her robe. She withdrew a single moonflower. Its silver petals glowed softly against the winter night, alive, untouched by frost. She placed it carefully into Kael's hand. "Wait for her." His fingers closed around the delicate flower. "For how long?" The oracle smiled one final time. "As long as love requires." She died before sunrise. The prophecy was sealed beneath stone. The old kingdoms faded into legend. The moonflower never withered, and the immortal Lycan King waited. One winter, then another, until winters became centuries, until hope itself became a stranger. 300 years later, rain fell over Moonveil Pack. A young woman looked at the silver mark that had appeared upon her wrist and smiled through tears.